Hi, I'm the Busy Bee Mom, and today we're going to be working on a type of weaving called twining. And normally when you weave, you go back and forth, you end up with something flat. Well, in twining, you're actually working in the round, so when you get all done, you have a round object, and you don't have any seams. It's perfectly round. And what I'm actually making is covers for pop bottles or water bottles, so that when I do historical reenactments or go to Middle Ages things, I have a way of covering up my pop or my water. It's a really quick, easy way to cover. Well, it's not easy to make, but it's a nice way to cover your bottle other than trying to put it in something like glass or pottery, especially when you have kids. This is a little bit more childproof. So anyway, twining traditionally used for making baskets by Indians, but we're going to use it for making bottle covers. And you need basically a loom and some yarn. Now you can use just, I saw the other day someone was using just a piece of cardboard for loom, but I like to use 2 dowels and 2 boards. And basically you just drill holes in your boards and you stick your dowels in and you're set. You do have to be able to take this off, take it apart, because once you obviously get your project on here, you have to be able to slide it off. For the spacing for your dowels, my outside is 5 inches on these. I think it's 4 3/4 to the middle. And basically you figure out how big around you want it to be and take that dimension and take half of it, and that's this dimension. So what else? For yarn, if I can find some old rug yarn, I like to use that just because it's thicker and it goes quicker. This is kind of a tedious thing. It's a good sit on the couch, watch a movie. So if you can find some old rug yarn, or new, nobody around here seems to sell rug yarn. New yarn that's thick tends to be this more, they have some funky stuff like this, but that would work too. You could use thin, it's just going to take you longer. Alright, I've got my loom, I've got some yarn, scissors. Let's get started. Alright, my first step is just to do a starter, what I'm going to start with. And I want to just wrap the yarn around about 3 times, pulling it snug, and then just tie it in a knot. Nice and tight, and trim that. And the next thing I need to do is I need to cut a bunch of pieces 30 inches long. And these are what's going to go actually inside. You're not going to see this a whole lot. This color, you're going to see it on the top edge. What I just put on here, you're not going to ever see. This next color, you're going to see it along your top edge and right here. And you're going to be able to see a little bit of it through here. So if you have a color you want to get rid of, this is the perfect time to kind of use it up. Or in my case, I have like 4 skeins of this creamy white. So I'm going to cut 10, 30 inches long, and then keep going from there. I'll be right back. Okay, I cut a bunch of pieces 30 inches long. What you want to do is you want to take one piece, fold it in half, and then you're going to put it through the middle. You're going to put this through there and pull it. Except I think I want my loop on top. So let's go around and then pull through. I just think it looks better with the loop like that. Yeah, okay. You're going to do that until this entire thing is filled all the way around. So I'll just cut a bunch and start putting them on, and then if I need more, I'll cut more. I'll be back when I'm done getting this filled in. Alright, I'm back with the next step. I'm going to start doing my threads this way with blue. Now the weird thing about twining is you actually have to take your ball and unwind a chunk of it onto another ball, because you're going to work with basically this end, and you want to have 2 balls pulling off of it. I didn't put a whole lot in my second ball because I know I want to change colors at some point. So to start, I take this, and I'm going to take 2 of these and pull them through that. Then I'm going to twist this. See how I twisted it? And you always want to do it the same way. And then I'm going to pull my next 2 through, twist it, and the next two. And that's it. You just keep twisting, and you grab the next two, which is actually was one thread just looped in half. And you're going to just keep doing that. After you get a bunch done, then you kind of scoot it up a little bit if you want to. If you want to keep maybe a pick handy, and make sure these are kind of even. If you need to tug on one or tug on the other to kind of get them even. There you go. Now I'm going to go and do this. And if it gets kind of near the wood, you don't like working too tight to the wood, just scoot it over. Alright, I think I'm going to go around twice, and then we're going to leave a gap, because here you can see I went around, I left a gap, and that's where I'm going to put my drawstring. So in order to leave a gap, the next row I'm not going to cinch up so tight. Alrighty, I've been making good progress. I just wanted to show you real quick how I made a gap. You see, as I come around in my second row, I just dropped down and left a gap, and then we're going to put our drawstring there. I've left a little bit of a gap in my rows just so it works quickly. I mean, you could squish it together really tight and not have any gaps if you wanted, but it goes a little quicker, and I think it looks okay. I'm going to show you how to change colors really quick in case you want to do two tones. So I'm going to cut this so they're about the same. I actually used up all that ball I had. And I'm just going to tie these together very lightly. Not too tight, because later I'm actually going to untie it, and I'm going to take a needle and thread these up inside. I'm going to wait and do that later. So tie that one off. Got my next color, and I'm going to start it just like we started a new color at the top by simply putting it around, and then I'm going to do my twist. I'm going to keep going until I am this long, which is, looks like that's about 8 inches. So I've been making them about 8 inches tall, which if you measure your bottle, you can kind of get an idea of how tall you want it to be. Alright, so I'm going to keep going to 8 inches. Okay, I'm all done with this part. I've got it woven all the way down, and I tied my ends just loosely together in a knot like I did before. Those are right there. Now, I need to divide my thing into 4 equal sections, so I folded it in half, and I put a pin on this end and a pin on this end, so you can see them. And then I brought those 2 pins together and put a pin on this end and this end. So now I have basically like, I divided it equally into 4 sections. So if I'd like to think of it as north, south, east, and west, I've got those 4 sections pinned. Because what I need to do now is I need to weave the bottom together. So I'm going to put a bottle in there to give it some shape. And I need to take, well, here, let's just go like this. You see my pins now? You can see that. What I need to do is I'm going to take about half of these and bring them across. In order to do that, I have to thread each one. I already thread one. Where is it? Here's one. So I take one and I thread it with my needle. I go what would be straight across, and I stick it in just like 1.5 inches and pull it through. Just kind of straight across. And I need to do that with about probably maybe every other one I'm going to take across to the other side. And now I'm going to take about every one of these and bring them across this way. Okay, I took half of my north threads and took them over to the south side. Half of my south threads and took them over to the north side, and right now they're just dangling out the sides of my thing. So now I'm going to take half of my east and take them west, and half of my west and take them east. The trick now is that I'm actually going to weave these, so I'm going to go over and under before I anchor it. And then of course the next row will be the opposite. If I went over, then I go under. And that's going to give you a bottom that's completely woven. So that's your next step. You might have to kind of push it along the side and work at it. And some of my threads kind of crisscross, but we'll get them all laying in a certain direction and get it all figured out. It looks kind of messy now, but don't worry, it should be okay. And wait until cut these till later, because you might need to tug on some of them or loosen some of them as you go. So, alright, there's my first one. I'm going to push it over a little bit, and then go down in the side and anchor it. You end up with a really thick bottom when you do this. If you wanted to have something that was flat and not round, you could just fold this in half and take your threads and just go straight across, and then you'd have a flat bottom. But I want a round bottom, so I'm going to weave. Okay, I'll be back when I'm done with that step. How come whenever I get on camera they don't pull through? There it goes. Alright, my bottom is now completely woven. And these are the threads that I didn't weave across. They were the extras. And I've been taking them and pulling them down under. Make sure you don't go down in the same column you came up, because you'll just unthread it. Go over one or someplace, or even tuck it under somewhere. And then after you get them in, then you can trim them. As you can see, I've got all of these in and trimmed. And it's pretty thick down there, but it's not a problem. So, and then anywhere where you have like a knot, if you started thread or changed colors, untie your knot, and you can see here my knots have been untied, and I've slipped that blue up in there and you can't even tell where it was. So you end up with a really nice clean finish. The last thing to do is to do my drawstring on the top. So I take a thread slightly longer than my circumference, and I'm going to go over 2, under 2. I happen to know, though, it doesn't work out even, so I'm actually going to start with 3. But anyway, 2, 2. I'm going to do this all the way around. Come up in the same spot. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing, only from the opposite side. So, take my bottle out, fold it in half. There's my opposite side. I'm going to go, actually I want to stay on the same track I used before, because what you want is some of that bulk to get out of the way. So you're going to do the exact same thing. You might have to kind of fiddle with it at the ends, though, because obviously you can't do the exact same thing. But for the most part, if you went over, go over. If you went under, go under. And then what you have now is you can pull it from both ends and it stays. If you just had it from one end and you pull it, you would need a cord keeper or something. So now you pull it. Then I just like to put a nice knot on the end. You could add a pretty bead if you wanted. And there you have it. Oop, my knot's a little tight. Open it first, then tie your knot. Okay, there you go. There is your nice holder for your pop or your water, and you can hide it and nobody will see it. Just a little bit of the top. Thank you for joining me on this Busy Bee project. You have a great day.